Thank you. I forgot to start recording. All right, Jose is ready. Oh, Ramon. Thank you. We'll wait a little bit more. All right, a few more seconds and then I'll move on. All right, so we will start off with the basics, creating an account, signing in. Basically, everything is with Google now, and it's going to go quick. Then we'll go into the basics. We are going to get a chance to try, not just see, the intermediate as well. And then we'll move into the activities. That's where it applies to basically any subject, and you'll have time to create an activity of your own at the end. So creating an account. First, you would have to go to desmos.com. Once you're there, we will start off by going right here to the graphing calculator. So once you're here, this is where you would go for the graphing calculator. However, there's other options available. So if you click right here at the math tools, you have a graphing calculator, scientific, a more simple calculator, the geometry tool, which is new, and there's other resources. Down here is where the students would go to put in their code. We'll get to try that also once we start doing the activities. And then the teachers would be able to go here, and we'll explore this one towards the end. All right, once you click there, you're going to get a page that looks like this. If you don't have an account yet, let's click on create an account. It'll take you to a page that looks very similar to this. You have to agree to their terms, and then you use Google, and it will sign you in. If you already have an account, the steps are basically the same. You click on graphing calculator, but instead of clicking on create account, you click on sign in. Sign in with Google, and there you are. So let me demonstrate on the paper, on the actual website. Graphing calculator takes me to this. I'm already signed in, so you guys can see my name right here at the top right-hand side. All right, any questions so far before I move on? I'm going to try to break it down into 5 to 7 minute blocks. That way, if you need to ask a question, you get a chance to. And I'm just practicing what I'll do with the students because their attention span is not the greatest. And now that it's going to be distant learning, it might be lower than when they're in the classroom. I don't know what's going on with the static. It might be the recording. Okay, so once you're here, you're able to, is there a hyperlink to the slides? Yes. Let me look at the hyperlink. Let me post it in the chat. It's also posted where you signed in. Here it is. Once you're here, you're able to look at what you have available. So if you click on the plus sign, it lets you know that you have an expression. That means you can write in a formula. You can type in a note. for example, instructions as to what to do. You can create a table, a folder, and a folder allows you to group things. And if you have things in a folder, you can make that folder invisible, meaning the students cannot modify it, but it would still be on the graph. You can also put in an image. So if you want to have an image representing like a cannon shooting a cannonball to demonstrate parabolas, you're able to put the image directly on the graph. I have an activity pre-made so that you have something to work with. This is how it looks on my end. I call the activity tech showcase. It tells you right here what you're able to use. So a mobile does not work. You're able to use a tablet and a laptop, and it gives you a preview of the screens. So if I click right here, student preview, this is what the students would see. This is what you're going to see. Mine will be a little bit different. How do you get this? Well, I create a class code, which is right here. Then I go to the dashboard, and this is what I would see. I'll explain more on that in a bit. But if you guys could go to student.desmos.com and type in the following code, then you're able to see my activity. And please let me know when you're ready to move on the chat, if you could say you're ready to move on or something similar to that. And as you start getting or logging in, you're able to see it right here on the left side. Now, some students don't want others to know what they're doing, how well they're doing. So what you can do is you can make it anonymous, and now it's going to have the name of a mathematician or scientist, and the classmates will not know who it is. All right, so I'm going to close the big window. However, the code is right here at the top as well. Okay, so I'm going to pause the activity a little bit so that you're able to see what I have on the screen and explain what's going on. You're able to pause it as well. So I'm going to click right here on pause, and it will lock you out temporarily. All right, so I'm going to change to another screen. This is what you're currently seeing. So whenever you're making an activity, you can have a preview of what's happening and what the students are able to see. So if you look at the first line, I have a note. There's right here on the left side, you can see that's a code for the note, and that would be like instructions or explanation as to what to do. You can have formulas or equations. That would be the expression right here. And as you can see, I have three different colors, blue and the other two. If you click on this circle, it removes that graph. So that line right here will not show on the graph anymore. So I can turn them all off. And there's some points that did not disappear. I made those points in a folder, and I made the folder invisible to the students. That way, those points do not get accidentally removed. So anything that you don't want the students to be able to but on accident or willingly remove, you can make it in a folder and it would be invisible to them. You can determine whether it's invisible or not. The ones that are not invisible, you can turn them on and off. You can also go right here to the gear. And this equation right here, the y equals 3x plus 5, you can make a copy of it, so duplicate it, and now you have two of the same, and you can modify it so that way you don't have to add too many things. Or you can turn it into a table, and whatever the equation was, it will become a table. So there's things that you can do with that. On the next slide, you have comment. You have a folder. I did not make this folder invisible, so you are able to like open the folder and see what's in here. If you look at the arrow, there's a line going down from it. Everything that has that line, it's included in this folder. If you click on it, it closes so that there's not too many lines open. You can also mute the folder, meaning everything in there will not show if you click on it. All right, so I will unfreeze you so that you can work on the first two tabs, and let me know if you have any questions. Now, before I do that, I switch to this one. So this is how you can tell what each student is doing. Right here, it says that there's 18 students in slide 1, and there are 3 students in slide 3, and it tells you the names as well. So if I make it visible, so you will be able to tell the names. If they have completed it or they've done something, there's a dot. And sometimes if you have like a question, it would auto-grade it and have a question check mark and so on. Right here, we also have the pacing. So I'm going to select so that you are able to do only one slide or 2 slides, so you would not be able to move on. You can restrict this at any time. So if you want everyone to move to slide 1, then you can just make it to slide 1. If you want everyone to be able to have access to 3 out of the 5, then you can do that and so on. So I will unpause it. That way you can play with it. And if you want to see what happens as you complete stuff, here's I left what the teacher would see. Also, if you look back at my screen really quick, this is what you would be able to see. So, for example, I clicked on slide 1, and it shows you kind of like what GoGuardian does, a sample of what students are doing on that screen. Of course, I hid the names, but you can see like what everyone is doing, how they're modifying the graph and so on. Right now, I'm looking at slide 1. I can look at slide 2. So it depends on what people have done. It shows there. You can look at the overlay, meaning they put all the graphs together on top of each other and see like what's going on. So if you want to see whether people are getting the right answer, you can do the overlay, and now it'll show you that. In this case, majority have the line right there. Okay, I'm going to pause it a little bit more so that you can see how some things are done. Okay, so do you guys see this camera right here on top of every graph? Basically, if you click there, it takes a snapshot of what that person was doing. So let's say, and I'll just pick that one, this person is doing something that I don't want them to do because they're going the wrong direction, or they're doing like really awesome. Then I take a picture of it, I can drag it in here, and I could ask a question on the spot. For example, is the slope of the green line correct? And you can present it to the class with the question at the top, and now everyone will be able to comment. So you can use snapshots for that, or just to keep a record of what's happening. Okay, so now that we are here, do you guys see how a folder, an empty folder right here, you would be able to add anything? For example, y equals 3x plus 2. You can turn that into a table, and that now tables take a lot of space. So if you close the folder, now you're only seeing what you want to see. Okay, now the next slide would be this one. So in this case, I gave you the note, I gave you the equation, but of course, this would not be available to the students, but I gave it to you so that you know what the equation is. I give you the table that belongs to the equation, and we are going to create oh, yes, of course. I'll go over how I created the table. So there's two ways to create a table. Let me erase that one. One way is you go click on the plus sign, click on table, and then you start filling in the values. So maybe 0, 1, or no, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4.
Wait, I can't see that on my end over here. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. All right, so let me repeat that. Sorry, technical difficulty. So if that happens, please let me know. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen with all of us in the classroom. So hopefully the students let us know. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza, again. So right here, if you want to create a table in this highlighted row, click on the plus sign, go to table, create a table for you, and then you just input the values. So for example, let's say I want to do x squared. That would be 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9. And as you do it, the points show up. That's one way if you only have the points. Again, if you only have the points, click here, select table. If you have the equation, y equals 3x squared, they give you you have the equation, and you want to turn this equation into a table, you go to the gear, I go back to the equation that I want to make into a table, and it says convert to table, click on that, and now it tells me this is the equation. For this x values, this would be the y value, and it even plots the line with the points on it. So there's two ways. All right. Anyone else? Any other questions on that? Okay, so let me go back to this other one. Here, again, the equation would not be there. This is the table, and from that table, I want to make an equation. So I noticed that the slope is 0.5. So this is I even told them that this is linear. So when you start creating the equation, you would put y1, then not equal, but this symbol right here. And then you would put the equation for the linear function, mx. Now, if we're doing this table, you have to look at how this table has x to the subscript 1. So you have to put the subscript 1, and the computer will know, so automatically it will make it a subscript plus b. So y equals mx plus b. It'll show the line right here. Notice it is red. It tells you more about residuals and other statistical stuff. What we're interested in for this example is m equals 0.5 and b equals 3, which is what I had in the original equation. So that's how you can create an equation from the table. At the bottom, there's 1. Here's the equation for quadratic. You're able to do that right here. So notice the subscript is a 2, because now I want to make sure that I'm using this table with the y2 and x2. Okay, so I'm going to move you to slide 3 so that you can try that out. See if you can make the equation just like I did. But make it for the other one, or both. And if you look at my screen, I'm seeing what Jacob Bernoulli is doing. So you can also see what the students are doing. If you see a mistake happening, you can spot it right away and let them know.
Mr. Narvaez, I entered the equation. How do I change that into a data table?
You enter the equation and you're trying to change it into a data table? Okay, so let's say you have this one. Which one do you want to convert into a data table? You click here for the green one. It converts the green one into a data table.
Okay, got it.
If you don't want to lose the equation, make a copy of it and then convert it, one of them into a data table.
Great.
And if you look at how some of them are dotted and whatnot, if you click on the gear and then click on the circle, You can change the colors. You can change from solid to dash to dotted and so on. Do you want me to explain it again, Miss Coin?
How do I go back from data table to a equation?
Undo. You won't have to type it up again if you saved it.
Oh, okay.
If you just did it, you can hit the undo. Otherwise, you might have to type it in again, which is not a big deal since the equation is right here. It becomes tough if you have one of those calculus problems, though. How do I go from table to equation? All right, let me take a table. Basically, right here, we're not really going from table to equation. We are based on this pattern, based on this table right here, we are finding the equation. What you have to do is look at the table. We have to use x sub 2 and y sub 2 into the equation. Now this one is quadratic, so you have to use the formula for quadratic. Y sub 2 about ax sub 2 squared plus bx sub 2 plus c. And here it tells you that a is 3, so it would be 3x squared. B is 2, so this would be 2x, and C is 1. And that's the equation that I put right here, so it matches. Can I manipulate the entries so as to them? Let me check. Are you sure this still? Let me check. Let me know if it changes. I'm going to change that 6 to a 10. Did it change anything?
Sir, the static is getting worse.
Oh, I might have to, during the break, log out and then log back in. What about now?
We can hear you better now.
All right. Cool. So, Jose, I changed one of the numbers on your table. Did it change?
I didn't see that. Can you do it again?
So I just went right here. I clicked on this one. I'm using the teacher account. I went over here, and this 1.6, I changed it to a 1.10. The graph right here changes. Did it change on yours?
I don't see the table that you're manipulating on my side. Can you please show me again where you are?
Yes, I'm on the third slide. I went right here on the one titled Lines and Tables. I went to the quadratic equation table. This 1,6, I changed it to 110. Right here it changes, but I'm not sure if it changes on your end. I've never done this remotely. I usually just tell them in person, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it did not change on my end. It's still a 6.
Okay. In that case, no, it doesn't change.
Okay, thank you.
Well, maybe
Mhm.
maybe you have to refresh. I don't know. It's an idea, Jose.
Okay, let me try.
Maybe not, because when I clicked out, it went back to 1,6. But we can try. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause this one. I will show you sliders and domain, and then I'll let you play with it some more. So I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to type in an equation, and this activity I usually do when I start doing transformations of parabolas. So let's say I start with the x squared, that would be the parent function. Then if I add k, as soon as I put another letter other than x and y, it will say add a slider. If you click on that one, yes, it will add a slider, and it says right now k is equal to 1, so it went up by 1. You can slide the value of k as it grows, gets more positive, and moves up more. You can make it go the opposite direction, and it decreases. You can also hit the play, and it will automatically start moving so that the students see, like, oh, when k increases, it goes up. When k decreases, it goes down. You can also change the range. So if you want it not to go from -10 to 10, you can do -5 to 5, and you can change the speed. So if you wanted to go by 0.001 and then play it, it would go slower and so on. And here you can look at how you want this to happen. The speed, to only do it once, or indefinitely only do it once, only play in one direction, so it will only go up and loop around. So it allows you to control the sliders. You can have as many sliders as you want. So if you use this other, for example, this one, the entire function, vertex form, you can have all the sliders, and you can have some of them playing. For example, if h changes, what happens when h changes? If k changes, what happens when k changes? And what about if a gets bigger, the graph gets skinnier? If a gets smaller, what happens? What happens when it's at 0? What happens when it's at negative? And so on. And this one right here, I made it on the fly. However, you can also start making an activity yourself. In order to make an activity, and I'll start you off before the break, is you go to Desmos.com. You know what? We can do that after the break. You can just play with the sliders for now. So type in any equation, and it'll.
I don't care.
How to create a slider? Yes, you type in the equation, and any letter that is not X or Y will make it into a slider. So as soon as you start adding them, they will show up. And you just click on which slider you want. So if you only want for M, you make it. Or if you want all of them, then you click all and it creates the slider.
Have you used the animation mode?
What do you mean the animation mode?
Right there under the play button, you have two arrows heading in opposite directions. Right there. Anyone?
If you have that one, that means when you click it, it will go both ways. If you change it to this one, it will only go in one direction and then loop back again. If you have this one, it will only go once, and once it reaches the end, it will stop. This one will play indefinitely.
Okay.
And then you can vary the speed. So if you wanted to go super quick, slower, the smallest is 0.05, so it would go super slow. We will do this in the activity right after the break. I'll show you to create an activity. We will play with some activities, and then you'll get a chance to do some on your own.
I'm sorry, can you show one more time how to create a table from a function? You went over that, but I kind of missed one step and I'm not able to duplicate it. So if you have a function, how do you get a table from the function? Thank you.
So let's say you have that. Let's say you have more, because you can actually select which one you want. You go to the gear, you edit the list. If you don't want to lose this equation, duplicate it. That way you have two of them, and when you click right here, it converts that one into a table. That way you still have the function and the table. If you don't care about losing the function, all you do is table and converts it into a table. You can always undo if you don't want to lose the function.
Thank you.
And you can turn off the dots on the table or change how they look. Points, make them disappear, change the lines, the color, everything is adjustable.
Thank you.
you guys want me to clarify anything that I covered so far, let me know and I'll gladly do it. Okay, you want to write the equation from the table. Okay. And you want me to do the linear one. All right, so here it is. Okay, one thing to notice is that if you look at the blue table, the one with the linear, the x and the y have a subscript of 1. If you look at the quadratic, the x and the y have a subscript of 2. That's how you're able to differentiate. So that would be like f of x, g of x. They use the subscript. When you start creating the table, when you have the table and you want to get the equation, you have to use those subscripts. So for example, for the blue one, all the subscripts that I have to have a subscript of 1. Tilde, mx, I will not put the subscript right now, plus b. Because I didn't put the subscript, the computer doesn't know which x to use. So that's why it gives you this message right here. So it's saying it cannot be used as a regression parameter. Because I want this table, I need to put the subscript of 1 in the x, and it will fix it and do it for you. So the subscript does make a difference. I hope that helped. Okay, we are going to take a 15-minute break. I'll see you here at 2:17. I'll be here if you have any questions, but you guys can take a break.
Servando. Um, when I typed in the equation, the values in the table disappeared. You're on mute mode.
When you typed in the equation, where did you type in the equation?
So I produced the table x sub 1 and y sub 1, okay? And then so I was able to produce my table, and then I tried to write the equation that corresponds to the values in the table. So I typed y1 equal to say equal to x sub 1, because I just had 1 1 2 2 3 3, okay? So
Yes.
after typing the equation, the values in the table disappeared. Mm-hmm.
Let me write another one and let me know if that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So you had,
So
because
just
I'm
the
not sure
ordinary.
if I'm understanding it. So you have
So
1,
1, 1,
1, 2, 2.
2, 2, 3, 3. Okay. And then I type
Uh-huh.
my equation y1 equal to x sub 1. See?
Um, the reason that happens is because um, the table has the sub 1 and the sub 1,
Mm-hmm.
but because you're making the equation, it will replace those values, so it gets confused. If you want to use the sub 1, you have to use the tilde x of 1,
Oh, okay.
not the equals. It will replace it, and the computer doesn't know whether to display the line or the table.
Got it, got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's the tilde, not the equal sign.
When you're trying to get the equation from the table, it's
Yeah.
the tilde. When you're just getting the equation, is the equal sign.
Okay, thank you.
Or if you want to do an inequality, it also does it for you.
Yeah. Thanks, thanks. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Servando. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm wondering if the static problem that you're experiencing today and that Paul was experiencing yesterday during the same, the Desmos, was is due to the recording. I know we're not going to be recording the students' lectures, but I wonder if that's the case, or why we lose you and it gets very choppy and then we don't hear you at all.
I'm not sure because I've been to other sessions where they are recording, and I didn't notice any noise or any choppiness.
That is true. We had a lot of sessions with our principal. He records and doesn't never have problems. So you are right. Crossing my
Maybe
fingers.
Desmos is doing something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because I saw you were using the sliders and you're getting really choppy at that point. I wonder if that was interfering. I don't know. I don't see why, but maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you. Oh, and by the way, also when I was on the yesterday, and I was on the Desmos, the screen, I had split the screen, so the screen for the Desmos, for me to work on was very choppy, while the screen for the presentation was not. So I'm thinking it's Desmos, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. Thank you.
Hopefully, it's not the case when we start teaching the students.
Oh boy, I hope not.
Another question, Servando. We
Yes,
can
sir.
only define the domain, right? Not the range.
That is correct.
Yeah, because yesterday in the Desmos presentation of Paul, someone asked about defining the range, and he said it's just a matter of putting the restrictions for y. But I tried doing it and it didn't work.
I think I tried it once and it didn't work. It was a while ago. Let me try it again and I'll get back to you in a little bit.
Sure, thanks.
And I mean, you can always try it also.
Yeah, it's 5 in the morning here. I'm awake already.
Oh, wow. Dedication. All right, welcome back. So there were a few comments about folders on the chat. I will quickly show you how to use folders. Anyone can use a folder, students and teacher. The teacher also has the option of hiding the folder, making it invisible for the student. Okay, so on the screen, by the way, is my sound okay?
Yes, clear.
All right. So on the screen, I will start by creating a folder right here. I'll go to the add item, the plus sign. I choose a folder. Do you guys see the icon folder right here? Anything I type in this line, it's just the name of the folder. So let's say folder for problem 1, or just problem 1, or any name that you want to give it. Then you're able to drag things just by select, grab them, and you can move them around. Now here, when the arrow's pointing to the right, the folder is closed. When you click on it, the folder is open. Now, in this case, nothing is included in the folder. You have to grab it right here. When you slide the cursor over right here, it changes the cursor. If you drag it and put it in the folder, as soon as I put it in the folder, there will be a line coming out of the arrow right here. Do you guys see that? There's this line right here. If it has that line, that means that item is in the folder. So when I close the folder, I only have this one item, it will disappear. You can drag any number of items into the folder that you want, they will all have this line. And you can also drag them out the same way. When you drag them out, just make sure that the line disappears, they're out of the folder. So in, out, there's no more line right here. Also, when you put them into a folder, if you notice, everything gets moved to the right a little bit, so to accommodate for the line coming in. Right? I didn't tell you before, but let's say you're graphing something like that, and this is a table. If you click on this plus sign, it'll zoom in to the best fit of that table. So if you have big numbers, you don't want to keep zooming in and out over here, then you just do the best fit and it will get you there. Here, the home just takes you back to the default, the 10 by 10. This graph settings allows you to change to projector mode. Everything gets thicker. Grids, show the axis or not, show the arrows at the end, label the axis. So if you want this one to be time and the name right here showed up, you don't have to put the name. You can change from radian to degrees, so you can adjust a lot of stuff. Now, how do you do piecewise? Let me hide this folder. Let me create a comment so that you know that this is piecewise or with the domain. So domain, I will create an expression. Y equals, let's say I want to have this line, but I only want the positive numbers. What I can do is I will make a curly brace at the beginning, put the range. If I only want positive numbers, let me include 0 as well. I'll put bigger than or equal. So I will type the bigger one followed by the equal, and it will automatically turn into the greater than or equal to 0, colon, close the parentheses, and this right here, as you can see, now it's only showing 0 and bigger. So that's how you can restrict the domain to anything you want. Now, if you want a piecewise function in math 2 and 3, at the end of the equation, add a comma, add the new domain, let's say -2 x 0, colon, and it can be any equation, x squared plus 3 plus 2 So this would be a piecewise function. First you put the domain, x bigger than or equal to 0, followed by the graph of the function. Choppy again. Okay, so now this is how. All right. So we're going back to now we're doing the activities. How do you make an activity? Two options. Either go to Desmos, desmos.com, and then scroll right here where it says teachers, and you start browsing activities. That's one way. The other way is just type in teacher.desmos.com.
Wait, you wanted to browse activities under teachers?
We can't hear you, and your screen sounds very blurry.
Yes. So I will go to teacher.desmos.com. It's the same thing as if you go to the teacher activities, and you should be able to see this right here, right? This is a page where you can find pre-made activities. So if you look at this feature collections right here on the left, these are activities that teachers have already made. For example, if you want to look at linear functions, click on that, and it gives you activities that have already been made by, it tells you by whom. So if it's made by Desmos, they're like nicer because they have people coding them, and they would be like nicer looking, better graphics, and so on. But anyone can make them. So you can choose from any of those activities, or you can make your own. I will start by showing you one that I found from another teacher that is not math, to show you that you can do basically anything. In order to show an activity that you have created, all you have to do is click on custom, and it shows you the activities that you have created or that you copied from someone. For example, this top one that from American history, it was created by Paula Torres. I modified it, and I'll be showing you that one right now. So once you click on an activity, it looks like this. Tells you that you cannot use a mobile, tablet, and laptop are okay. Gives you a preview. It allows you to create a class code. So I'll create a class code. Here's the class code. I will go into the dashboard. So this is similar to what we did earlier, but it will include other features. And it's going really slow. Sorry about that. So if you could type in the code and join in, that way I'll show you the activity known as sorting. This is popular if you want to have students categorize certain things. So as soon as you join in, you will get something that looks like this. And you're going to be able to drag and drop. As you can see, it could be images, it could be text. Formulas, you would have to create it in Desmos and then take a picture of it and drag it in so that they look nicer. You give them instructions at the top of the slide right here, sort the cards into the proper time frame. For example, this one right here would be go with the Civil War. So now you have a group of 2 cards that belong to the Civil War. And you would classify them. You can also make a, what's the code? Right here. So some of the math MVP have activities where you do matching or sorting. This is one way to do that. And distance learning, I mean, I've done it in the classroom, but especially right now, since we don't have any cards or stuff available for them to use. So like you would group them together based on where they go. So the independence, the Civil War goes right here. That's in the 1800s, and I got those taken care of. As the students do that, you can go into the teacher. So for example, right here, you're able to see the green one means they got it correct. The orange means they're not correct. And this is able to do this because there is a key created with it. How's the audio now? Is it better?
Right now it is, but just like a while, a little time ago, it was good, and then it started getting bad again.
It seems that when I show you something that requires a lot of memory, it gets choppy. So this one right here, the more things you have in there, the slower it gets. So because I was moving them around, I'm thinking it's a lot of memory being used. I'm using a student Chromebook, so I don't have like the nice computer. So I guess this is what we can see that the students will experience.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So not too many pictures or not too many tabs open. So this one right here, when you guys type stuff in, like I'm able to see who commented what. You can also make it so the students see other answers, or so that you only see the answer. So it's up to you. So like Anna Pell Wheeler put that. I don't know if that's just random but like people wouldn't know that who put it there. The Civil War, yeah. So these are like text box, card sort, and so on. So let me quickly show you one that it's a game, and then we'll go right into the how to create them. So the one I'm going to show you is known as a polygraph. Have you guys ever played the game Guess Who? So this one's going to be exactly like the game Guess Who. You're going to be able to create what the students will see. So if you guys could go to this one right here, type in the new code, and then you're going to be able to practice a little bit, but go in so that you can play the one that I made. So as soon as you go in, they give you like a practice round where you see the pictures of or the cartoons of people, and it gives you a way to practice what's going on. In this one, you're able to ask yes or no questions for you and your partner to be able to guess what the other person chose correctly. So for example, right here, people are practicing. Marissa already finished, so she was paired with John. Of course, I would make this anonymous so the students don't know who they're paired with. And now, one of them is going to pick. The other one is going to guess what the other person picked. So this is what it looks like. And on the student perspective, so this person is the picker, this person is the guesser. You're going to ask yes or no questions in order to eliminate possible answers that you might have right here. If the questions and the eliminations happen to be correct, then at the end it will tell you how many questions it took you to guess correctly and whether it was correct or not. And of course, it keeps a record of what the students are typing in and stuff. So I'll let you play a little bit, and then we'll move on. So I'll let you play for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Then once you have a round or two, you can do the following. At first, sometimes you can't tell what the pictures are for because they're kind of small. So you can give them some hints like, oh, so these are burgers, these are pasta, these are Thai, Mexican food, and then students will start to use those vocab words and it will flow more smoothly. You can also group them like, oh, vegan, meat, vegetarian, eats with chopsticks. So you can give them hints, and then the vocabulary is going to start changing. Also, you can show them the vocab that other people have been using, and they will start adjusting it. You can use it with pictures of people. So this could be your 16 pictures. Now they have to use like different vocabulary. If you're doing like adjectives, like older, younger, baby, you can do it maybe on a language class. If you're looking at colors, how to learn certain clothing types. So it all depends on which class you want to use it. There are many options available. You can use it with other math activities. I usually use this to review once before a test or to see if the students are getting the differences between graphs or whatever topic we're covering at the moment. Okay, so here's how to create one, and then I'll give you time to create your own. Go to teacher.desmos.com. And if you need me to repeat a step, let me know. It will take you here. Again, this is what I showed you where the ones pre-made are down here. Custom would be the ones that you have made. When you go to custom, then at the top right, like under your name, you would see the two activities possible, new polygraph or new activity. If you choose a polygraph, this one is kind of like the one you were just playing with the food items. You put the title. I don't know, let's call the teacher prep now. Start building. Now you are able to load in, you need to have 16 images. So you can either type in the equation and it will put this right here. You go to the next one and you start filling them in, or you can put in a picture. Once you're there, you go to plus, image, select any image that you want, and it'll show in that
in the space. You guys want me to repeat any of those steps? If you want to use your own graph that you can make on the spot, put it here. Click on another cell. Now this one's going to be a negative parabola, maybe with the same number, just one is negative, the other one's positive, and they will populate. Or you click here, you can add anything that you want. You can add a table. I mean the graph, not the table, the points. Or you can add a picture, image. You look at the folder for an image. Let's say in the downloads. I don't have an image that I could use, but you would just open it and it would add it right there. That's what I did with that's how the one with the food was done. And then once you're done, you click right here on done, and then you're able to play it. You need to have 16. Yep. Otherwise, it will not let you move on. So basically, this line right here needs to go. It needs to get full. So yeah, all 16. I mean, if you want to use less, you can say something like ignore this, and they cancel that one right away. Or leave it blank, and they cancel those right away, and now they have less to choose from.
Can you upload an image from the internet?
I think so. Let me try it. I've usually done a graph from my own, but I think you'll be able to do that. You just have to save it to the computer.
Okay. And then you can adjust the size of the image also in here. Yeah, your mic is real bad again.
I think it's a fact that I'm creating the activity uses up a lot of data. Where did I find polygraph? I go to teacher.desmos.com, here with the activities. I go to custom, once I'm in custom, if you look at the top right, you can choose a new polygraph or you can choose a new activity. Right now, I chose a polygraph. So that's the one that, this is the polygraph. Now I'm going to choose a new activity. And then that's it. You're gonna get to try it on your own for would be like 30 minutes. So title the activity, Teacher Prep 2020 activity. And you can only make it private for you, or you can share it with others. It's up to you. You can create a description or not. Once you go in here, create, this is how it looks like when you start creating. I'll share one in a minute. So once you're here, you're able to put different things. You can put an input. You can put a graph. You can put multiple things. The only thing is the more you put, the smaller they get. So usually 2 or 3 is good enough. Like right now I have a graph, and you can put a table. You can move them around to see how you like it, like this, or side to side. If you look on the 3 dots, it gives you more options. You can delete that component. You can have buttons. You can have, this is new with geometry stuff. So you can add shapes. Take that off. You can add a text box. So for example, you put the graph in there, and then you ask them some, you can provide the instructions right here, or you can provide right here in the label, the text box, and they would be able to type in their answers here. So right now I only have one slide. So if you click right here on the plus, it creates a new slide. The new slide could be different or could be the same. If you go all the way to the bottom, someone asked this earlier, you can put the graphing calculator, so it would just not be the graph. They would be able to also type in the questions. This is similar to the one that I did when you started getting the equation from the table. You can, if you go the way right here to the bottom, there's a card sort. This is where you are able to put the cards. Remember the one with the Civil War and the history one? You can add math or text. You can add a formula right here. That would be one of the cards. You could put in an image. Of course, you would have to upload it, kind of like the way we uploaded the other one. You can put a graph. So there's multiple things that you can put in there, and then the students would have to match it. Also, there's this marble slide. You can add marbles, and then the balls would have to hit the marbles and capture them. That one could be a bit tricky. There's marble slides already available to you that you can use. Okay, so it's you will have about 39 minutes of planning to create one activity. I will be here the entire time. Oh, where's the marble slide? Marble slide is one of the options available. So there's one for linear, one for quadratic. If you go to linear functions, here there are 10 activities. Marble slide lines is one of the popular ones. It tells you how long this activity usually takes. If you click on it, they're in different languages. So if you have students that don't speak English that well, you can put them in another language. And as you can see, it tells you who translated it. So if it's translated by Desmos, I hope that they're really good. You know? This one's by volunteer, so I don't know the quality of that. I wouldn't be able to tell. This is how they look, so you can try it out. Marbles like would basically be, there's marbles, there's lines to funnel or to direct the direction of the marbles. You click the launch, the marbles fall down, and they capture all the stars, and you're okay. This is very popular. If you want to make your own, you can do that as well. If it's not so means if you have your own, you want to share with somebody, you click there and you can make a copy edit. Someone like that. Import. You guys also have like a station. It's easier to answer your question. Yes, it's like that's what you said. You can just tell me I tried this before. Like having the two laptops of your own, and then the one that you borrow from the school together. That makes a difference. My phone is not online. So my phone is off. But yes, I guess it's connected to the internet. I do have a mic and earbuds. I just didn't know how bad this was going to get.
Can you go over how to share a polygraph that you created with your peers?
Do you guys want me to share the one with the food?
Sure.
I didn't create that one. Someone shared it with me.
Can you show how to do that on the screen, please, so that we can see?
you go right here, and you see where it says share activity. Click there. Copy the link. So this is created by Mr. Baudry. If you're using it, just make sure that you're saying that he did it, not that someone else did it. Give him credit, it's a really good one. I've been using it for a while. People like that one.
So when you click on the link and the activity, in this case, the polygraph opens, what do we have to do to maybe put it on a folder that we can access later to use?
You can do that, or since I already know what that one is called, sometimes you can just search for the activity. For example, here I'll just put food, and this one is from Desmos. This is the one that someone else did. Takes me there, and these are the times that I've used it. You can always archive those. So these ones are inactive because I haven't done them in a while. You can archive them. You can activate them. I haven't saved that one since I remember that one is an easy to remember. But anything that you make a copy of would be right here in the custom folder. So this American history, I made a copy of it, and now it's in my custom because I made a copy of it. See, now they have this distance learning algebra. This wasn't there before. Desmos made them, so they probably put in a good amount of time and effort into it. This one's really good for introduction of parabolas. I've done it before, and now it's like a lot of languages available.
One more question, I'm sorry. I was wondering if there is another website where one can go and search for other activities or polygraphs for our own subjects. Do you know of any other resources, like websites, that have this type of activities that we can search?
In Google, the history one, I found it in Google.
So just doing a search for this type of activities, is there any website that you know that has more of these activities?
I haven't searched. I usually make the ones that I want based on the graphs that I'm looking for.
Jose, you're asking,
I try to.
I'm sorry, Jose, you're asking about math activities?
Actually, I was looking for science more.
Like what topic?
I guess, I don't know, activities like this on the structure of a cell for biology.
So I just searched in Google. Right, I put Desmos polygraph. You have to say like the name of the activity, right? Clicked on it, and then it took me to one that someone made. Like I don't know how good it is. You would have to like see yourself. And of course, if you like parts of it, you can always copy some parts. So that's a polygraph. That's the one that you would have to guess, right? But you can just change that to, I don't know, activity card sort. Depends on what you want. Polygraph by Desmos. I don't know. I usually make my own activities. I try to vary it, so not too much. Not only Desmos, not only one thing, because the students get bored of too much pairing up or asking questions. So I try to vary it, like quizzes, whiteboard activity, yeah. And then someone on the chat put Gizmos. Mr. Tizzo was leading the workshop on Gizmos, and that one was really good activities that you could find for math and science. Oh, someone say on Quizlet. There's also quizzes. Now has more stuff available. It used to be multiple choice. Now it has been expanded to other type of questions.
Servando, I have a question. I'm trying to create a polygraph where students have to match the linear equation with their graph. And all I'm seeing that is just creating a whole bunch of graphs. So I'm kind of stuck. How do I get them to match it with the equation when all it's showing me are graphs when I'm typing in the equation? Does that make sense?
Yes. Let me go back to see what the options are. What I've also done is I create the graph on Desmos outside the activity.
Okay.
Take a picture of that specific section and then upload that as a picture.
All right.
Let me check it out and see what I can see.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and the other thing, the graphs don't have numbers on them, so that would be better to have a picture, I guess.
And you said you want a polygraph, right?
Yes.
Yes, I would make it as a picture. So make the equation somewhere else, or if you already have it, just take just a picture of that equation, and you can add it in as a picture. It would be the last option if you look at the plus sign, the image. Because if you type anything in, it will create a graph for you, yes. But polygraph would be to guess which one the other person picked. If you wanted to get matched, that would be under the new activity, the card sort. Jose, Mr. Tizio was saying that the subscription to Gizmos was purchased for science. He wasn't sure if it was also purchased for math.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's for the entire district or just on a site basis.
Oh, okay. I'll ask my my department chair.
I think it's just LSL.
I see.
So Gerardo's saying that is for the whole district.
Yeah, LSL was nice enough to let the whole district borrow it. No, thanks.
Oh, nice. Is that for science only, or is it for anyone? Okay, we still have 15 minutes to go, so I'll be here until 3:30, but I'm posting the evaluation link. Hopefully you learned something that you can apply to the classroom and your teaching. Sorry about the connection. There's not much I can do on that. Now that we've tried it, we know what could happen if a lot of tabs or a lot of stuff is going on in the background.